gathering themselves, getting another glass of wine, and then joining us in a second. So we'll ask some questions, hang out. I'll throw it to you guys if you want to ask some questions, and we'll get into it. So whenever this cast wants to join me, I think I'm assuming this is my seat. Dive right in. I know you guys just heard the table read. You got to hear that firsthand, and they're getting ready, I believe, to shoot the finale. And long orders, big orders, 42 episodes, 2 seasons. Congratulations! And so diving right in, Jenny, how did the show originally come about? What was the genesis?
It's based on a Venezuelan telenovela, and the title and the concept came to me about a virgin getting accidentally inseminated. And of course, my first thought was, I don't understand the show. And then it started to emerge to me as a sort of a mother-daughter fairy tale about a girl who really loves telenovelas and finds herself and her life unexpectedly turning into one. Once I found my way in, then I started to write.
And were you concerned at all about sort of juggling the balance between the reality and the fantasy aspect and the comedy, for that matter?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always concerned about the balance and about how we keep it grounded, which is obviously through the Villanueva family and Jane, and how her problems can stay grounded and relatable, but still have all the big telenovela antics. And it's about sort of keeping all the different, I say that our show has 3 different layers. There's the very grounded level, then there's the very fantasy element of the hotel, and to Jane growing up, that would be a fantasy. And then our biggest, sort of broadest, is the telenovela within our telenovela. And we just try to, keep our transitions tight and hopefully speak between all 3.
And the show obviously is seen through Jane's eyes. So talk a little bit about the casting process and finding the lovely Gina Rodriguez.
I mean, it's like a more romantic story to me than meeting my husband.
Sorry, Jamie, I love you, no doubt. I don't mean to show you up, my man.
It was really like, 3 different people had said, there's a girl coming in named Gina Rodriguez. We had a list of however many coming in that day. She was the 3rd person to walk in. We didn't have our director at that point. And I just remember watching her, seeing her, and just being like, and I did take it home, and I showed my husband that night, bring him into this. But I just, she said, do you have anything to change? And I think I said, no, we'll see you again very soon.
I was like, can I get that in writing?
Yeah.
But can I get that in writing, though?
It was just, it's like you have a character in your mind, and so many times you're trying to get things to sound like what's in your head, and then you see somebody that brings it in, and I had that with this entire cast, who makes it 20 times better than what you had in your head, and that's just a huge gift. And suddenly when I heard Gina reading Jane, and I have to say, like, her performance in the pilot was the performance she came in and auditioned with. I mean, like, I remember playing these, and I cry thinking about it, because she made the speech, the proposal speech to Michael, and we had her doing 3 different scenes of all different kinds, and I was just like, wow, if we film that even in this room, it's going to be meaningful. And so it was just divine intervention, I think, that I met Gina.
And, yes, congratulations. And what I really like about the show, and I think it started recording with me, and as it did with many viewers too, is obviously you have a lot of Latinos in the cast, but I wouldn't necessarily qualify it as a Latino show. You're not beating someone over the head with a tortilla, right? I think essentially universal storytelling, and that's what you want to do, is have good storytelling, but clearly you're not Latino.
No.
So did you feel, because of that, a sense of responsibility to want to bring a certain authenticity to the show itself? And how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I felt pressure at first, and I felt, all the normal things. Am I the person to write this? And all of that. But then when I started to think about the story, and a story about a mother and a daughter, essentially that's what it is. I write men all day, every day. I relate much more to Jane, a young, wanting to be a writer with a complicated relationship with her mother than I do. That's easier for me to write than that. So I started to think about all the things that are the same. That I was just trying to create a character, and I felt like if I create a really specific character who really comes out of the specific circumstances that we're creating, then I don't have the pressure of representation that I have to represent everyone, because that's a fool's errand and would contribute to stereotypes. I thought if I can just create a unique character, and then it's not going to be about race or, there's so many things that go into the soup of making who we are, socioeconomic standing and religion and, who our parents were and where they're from. And so all of that I wanted to take into account and create a unique character. So that's in the process.
And Gina, we talked before about it. I know you told me that you turned down roles in the past that you felt perpetuate sort of Latino stereotypes, Latina I should say. So how important was it for you in this role to essentially get it right? And did you feel like having that you'd have a certain impact on Latinas and on other girls just in general?
I don't know if I know how to get it right. I don't know if I got it right. I just know I got real lucky, and I got really blessed with all the people around me right now. My journey when I was, as artists, we're all artists in this room. As an artist, you want to work so bad, and you're like, I just want to act, and I want to be able to pay my bills, and there comes a time when you start thinking about what kind of art you want to make, and there comes a time when you start thinking about what kind of human being you want to be, and how you start to shape your character as your human character. And I thought to myself, I want to make art that doesn't make me feel the way I did when I was younger. I want my nieces and nephews to have role models that they can look up to, that make them feel relatable, that make them feel like they are involved in the conversation, And I grew up a lot like Jane. I am still a virgin. Good twisting. Sorry, I'm showing someone. No kidding. But I grew up a lot like Jane, where I spoke English in the house, and my grandmother spoke Spanish, and I had this dual identity, but I identified with just being a human being, and that's why I love Jenny's heart, is she writes for a human being, because we all want the same things. So for me, I thought, man, how lucky did I get when I read the script? I was like, who is this brilliant woman? And the love story was on the other side as well, because while I was looking at this adorable redhead from Boston, acting, she's just humble and down to earth, and I think she didn't have shoes on, and she was with her legs crossed, and I'm like, who is this woman? She's amazing. And I said, thank you so much for writing just a story for the heart, right? Because that's what we want. That's, I think, what everybody wants to see themselves in a positive light, and so I think that Jenny did that, and I felt so lucky that I got chosen for this experience, this journey. But everything I do, hopefully, will continue to contribute to that. And I think Jane does a really good job at smashing a lot of stereotypes. I think it does a good job at talking about a lot of social commentary without judgment. And I think Jenny is a pretty amazing woman. Jenny for president.
Jenny, how did you find the voice of the narrator? And did you intend for him to have that Latin lover sort of attitude?
I wanted to play with that trope and with that spirit of the Latin lover that we all know and have a relationship to. It was actually the last sort of step in writing the script. I couldn't figure out, I had all of these different elements, and I couldn't figure out the storytelling aspect, and I knew I wanted to have a storyteller at the center of it, because I knew that Jane was going to be a writer, and I wanted it to have a fairy tale feeling. And really, once I added in the narrator and figured out who he was in the context of the world, because he is someone in the context of the world, it kind of freed it up for me and really unlocked it, and it let us have a lot of fun with it. And then we got the most brilliant narrator, Anthony Mendez. He is just such a gift, and we all were just so grateful to have him.
I want that guy to do the GPS.
Yeah. He's Gina's outgoing message.
Yeah, here's my voicemail. I'll give everybody my number after so you can listen to me.
And
I'm jealous. I want that too. Yeah, well, trademark, you owe me $25. Damn. Yeah.
and for the rest of the cast, anyone just chime in, talk a little bit about how exciting it is to be part of this special project and the fact that you're going yet another season continues to develop and what it means to you personally?
Well, I'd like to speak a little bit about, accepting the role, a stereotypical role. I've been in the position of being offered the role of what I view as a stereotype for Latinas, and it's a tough position to be in. And I totally get the feeling of having to pay your bills, and I have accepted roles that way. And it almost felt like there was no choice in the matter, which is a really hard thing to feel as an artist. But through making those choices, I learned a lot about myself, and I made an attempt to play those roles against how they were written. And I learned a tremendous amount, and so then when the role of Xiomara came around, it was a breath of fresh air for me. And at first face value, I thought Xiomara was going to be another stereotype, and she has been redeemed many, many times, and Jenny has gained my trust because I really didn't know where the character was going to go after the first episode. And in the second episode, I wound up, singing and dancing to the Milkshake song and Jane's quinceañera. And when I first read that script, I thought, oh my God, they're writing her as a stereotype, no. And as I got to the end of the script and episode 2, season 1, she was redeemed, and there was a reason why she did it. And I so thank Jenny for that, I really do. Just for me as a Latina, but also as an artist and as a female, and as the mother of a female child, I so appreciate all of that. It means so much to me, that she's doing that, and that I get to represent Latinas in a positive light, who have all kinds of layers and colors, and who aren't like completely perfect. And I love that I'm getting to do that in my career. I never thought that I would see this day, so I'm really appreciative of it.
About the redeeming part, because when I got the pilot, I was told this is the villain of the story, and I said, okay, I want to get on the phone with Jenny. And the minute I got on the phone with Jenny, and she explained to me kind of a little bit of what she had in store for the character of Petra, I was like, I am definitely doing this part. And I can't explain even how much Petra has changed from day one until where we are now. She's, I can't even call her a 3-dimensional character. She's like a 19-dimensional character. And the brilliant thing about Jenny is really that she knows how to write for her actors, which is something that many people don't know how to do, I feel. And she really gets to know us and has gotten to know our strengths and write. I don't know if Petra was supposed to be funny, but over time she just became this funny, amazing character who I absolutely love playing with all my heart, and that's thanks to Jenny.
Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit about Petra, because I was reading
Yes.
the big metamorphosis this season. From you got yourself pregnant with a turkey baster.
Yep. You don't know how many turkey basters I've gotten as gifts over this past year, by the way. Thanks, Jenny.
And you had the twins.
Yep.
You're experiencing postpartum depression currently.
Yes.
And you're even playing your own twin. Very multi-dimensional.
Oh, yes.
And so how much fun, challenging, and tricky is it?
It's been incredible. I mean, first of all, the postpartum depression part, I think it's, like Gina said earlier, I think it's just another one of these amazing things that Jenny manages to talk about in a way which doesn't pass judgment, but manages to bring our attention to it, because it's something that's so much more common than we know, more than I knew, and only when I dove in and started doing research about it did I understand how common it actually is, postpartum depression. And about playing the twin, I mean, can it get any better than that? I mean, who gets to do 2 characters on the same show that are so complete polar opposites? And to be completely honest, Agnieszka, Petra's twin sister, is based on quite a few of my cats.
All right, we'll leave it right there.
Can I answer your question, by the way?
Sure.
Grateful is, you asked us how we feel going in,
Yes.
and what the experience has been like. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we are unbelievably grateful. From the very beginning, I don't think any of us had any expectations, which was a beautiful thing about this. We knew we were coming onto a network that was filled with superheroes and sci-fi things, and we were a show about, the pregnant virgin. There was
Pretty heroic, pretty heroic.
very heroic pregnant version.
Just saying.
But we had no idea what to expect. And at first, the cards were pretty much stacked against us. But we knew that what we had. And when we showed up on set, we fell in love. And it's not a joke. I mean, from the very beginning, we've had the same text message chain for 2 years. And sometimes Jenny accidentally gets added, which is a horrible thing.
She's got better
Because we
things
know
to
she's
do, like
busy
write the
writing
show.
the rest of the show.
Get out. Every once in a while, we go text and we're like, oh, sorry, Jenny.
But from the very beginning, we didn't know, and then we got picked up. And I remember we were on set, and we started screaming because it was like, oh my God, we have a job in LA, in Los Angeles.
We love it, and we love it.
We all know what it's like. The fact that you get a show picked up out of the 5,000 pilots that are out there that don't get picked up. You get to stay in Los Angeles, right? You get to be on a network that does 22 episodes. You get to work with people that you love, that are giving and generous, where there's no egos, where everyone shows up to work, and then out of work, they do good with it, right? And then you get to stay here, and you get to look, and you get to eventually do something like this. There's not a day that goes by where we don't look at each other and say how blessed we are to be right here on the show.
I feel you, Yael, too. Jenny writes such a fun, wonderful world we get to live in. Jaime gets to live in every century possible on Thiago. I got to play a rapper, a salsa dancer,
And it's a
1920s.
great responsibility for me because I'm the most grounded character of the show.
100%. Example, that comment. 100%. The hearts and the stretch. I think Abuela teaches us something new every single time she is on set.
Thank you. And you know something? I never expected to be in an American show speaking Spanish only.
Can we talk about the cool
All
acting?
those classes, Shakespeare class, Shakespeare. Oh. But you know something? It is, when Jenny told me that I would be speaking Spanish mostly, I'm like, huh? I pay so much money. I'm a theater actor. I thought Shakespeare was that way. But she's like, no, I think you're going to be speaking Spanish. And I didn't understand at the beginning the dimensions of the character and what it represents and the importance of that character, socially speaking and politically speaking, right now in our country here in the United States of North America. To have a Spanish-speaking only person in the show, when she's been spoken English, she understands. You see, and I think I reflect through my character, through Jenny's work, is what I reflect is a very, very big population here in the United States, that people who contribute, who work, right? Yes. And they are decent people who have a good family, as you can see in our show. And I'm just so honored, after all these years of hard work out here in Hollywood, to have been granted the honor of playing a part such like this. Thank you, Jenny, Mama! Oh, yeah. And thank you, because, not only our fellow actors, but also the audience has embraced it, and they appreciate that she's speaking Spanish for some reason. I thought it would never be like, because I thought, Jenny, but Americans do not read subtitles. We do in our countries because we have to read them. You want to hear it in English? Look at it in Spanish. Hear it in English? So I was very adamant about that, but it turned out so good. I am so honored, and this is like what Justin said. We're filled with love. We're so grateful. We're so honored. And to be able to reflect North America as it stands right now, and the contribution of the Hispanic family, mainly made by women. Thank you!
Jaime, I want to hear from you, Jaime. Ironically, you come from telenovelas, and obviously have done your fair share. So when you originally got the call about this show, what was your reaction in comparing the two? What are the similarities and contrasts?
Well, I've done more sitcoms in Mexico, but they go on Monday to Friday in a 1 hour format, so they're automatically labeled as novelas. but it's more like a comedic side, like I did the Mexican version of Ugly Betty and the Mexican version of and the Mexican version of En los tacones de Eva. So when my manager, one of the many managers whose names I don't know, called me and said, well, you have a Skype conference with Jenny, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So I was shooting, and I'm like, so I'm shooting in Mexico, and I asked my guys, the lighting guys, if they could please lead me. Such a Rogelio moment, like, okay, Kino flow there, back like that.
So Rogelio.
This is in my dressing room.
I knew you lit it.
So, of course. Oh, what the hell, right now? Got the job. So, and I'm there, and I'm like, hi, Jenny, how are you? And we had this conversation. And Jenny, of course, you're a beautiful human being, and we all know this, and we can say this minute after minute, and it's not just, how do you say in the States, blowing smoke? Yes, thank you. So, I was really concerned because the first the only lines of the character in the pilot is, why did you keep my daughter a secret all these years? And that's it. So one line, exactly. So I don't know where it's going. So Brad, Silverling, and Jenny were super kind and told me, no, don't worry, this is a character that's eventually we don't know when, but eventually it's going to get developed and whatever. And I had 3 straight offers for pilots. But without a doubt, the most luminous and creative and beautiful, beautiful script I read was Jane. And I just loved it. And there was an offer for ABC and for whatever. And I spoke to my manager and said, you know what, I don't care about the other ones or if they're perceived as a bigger network or the smartest choice. We must never forget why we became actors, which is to do a role that or a project we love. We just read the script and we want to devour the script and be a part of this beautiful universe. So that was my decision and taking Jenny. Just to say what Justin was saying. Well, first of all, we are here a small part of the family because here in the first three rows, we have the cast of Gina Rodriguez, which are so talented. So a big round of applause for them, please. But honestly, we do love each other genuinely. Not because we are here, we must say that we love each other. And I have a bigger dressing room. No, it's just like, we honestly love each other genuinely. And like Justin was saying, we're privileged enough to be in the employed list of actors of Los Angeles. We know how hard that is, and that's just a blessing itself. And to have a show that is so brilliantly written and with so many accolades, and our beautiful Gina won the Golden Globe and was nominated for a second year. It's just beautiful, but we genuinely love her. And I've heard, because I'm an immigrant here, I'm from Mexico, but I heard these horrible stories in Hollywood, how some actors are working the show and they can't stand each other. Or they don't look, they don't engage into eye-to-eye contact, or you're going to the set and it feels like the air weighs a ton. It feels like a funeral. Like, go in, but don't shake the actor's hand because he might, what's the wrong? He's a human being. And we work in this beautiful show where we genuinely love each other not to death, to life. And when we went to our first hiatus, we were so sad. We're like, no, I don't want to leave you guys. I have 2 kids, but whatever, I want to leave you. And then we came back for season 2, and we left yesterday.
It was like there was no break. Yes.
I have to say that I get calls all the time from both directors and from guest cast, and they say that going at the set, and I'm not there. It's these two, but they've never been treated so kindly and felt so valuable and valued. And I hear that from the casting directors are constantly calling me and telling me that, and someone who had 1 line or 2 line. This group is just an exceptional group of people.
Well, it was a conscious effort. I'm not sure if you know that, yeah. Jenny. That it was a conscious effort as the cast when we were filming the pilot. We were so grateful, as Justin said, and we had made a pact that we as a cast, if we did get picked up for a series, that we were going to continue the camaraderie and the gratefulness that we experienced during the pilot. And we had our own war stories about being guests on other TV shows and what it felt like to be welcomed and what it felt like to not be welcomed and to feel like just a prop or a pawn in the story making and not an important or integral part in telling the story. And we wanted to make sure that whatever guests we had, directors, background or co-stars, that they felt welcome, and that we also continue to keep that gratefulness going throughout the season. And I'm happy to say that we've been able to do that, and we are continuing to do that.
You mentioned, there's a couple more questions, and then we'll open it up to the audience, so you guys can ask what you'd like to ask. But you mentioned guest stars a couple times. Off the top of my head, I know you've had people from Rita Moreno to Britney Spears. So, quite an eclectic group, and
Yeah.
obviously all very
Gina
talented.
said to me early on, she just said her dream was to work with Rita Moreno, so I just had that in my mind like that.
Again, I'm sorry, Jamie, I'm stealing your wife.
And then other guest stars, if I read a magazine and someone says they like the show, we'll call them up and see if they'll do it. And a lot of times they said yes, so it's been great.
That's the beauty of her writing too, though, because she does these amazing fantasies and allows us to play all these different characters outside of who we really are. We have all these opportunities. Like a quick story. So Derek Huff, Sister Margaret. I know, I can tell. Someone fanned her.
Sign of the cross.
Fanned her. So he came on set because he was in Manhattan Beach. He was like, yo, Gina, I'm going to stop by and hang out. And I was like, yeah, for sure, come through. He comes through. We dance in Raphael's suite. I'm sorry, baby daddy. We dance. And then like 2 days later, we have a table read, and Jenny's like, yeah, you're gonna do Salsa Sofia, it's this imaginary character, you get to dance salsa with, and I was like, Derek Huff, and she was like, okay. And because him and his sister are a fan of the show, that he jumped on, it's really awesome too. I think the camaraderie is a beautiful thing. Like, we really appreciate when people come and play with us, and like, we get to utilize your amazing art and your amazing talent. So it's really nice when people actually want to come play with us. Mario, when are you gonna come on the show? Corner of the public.
I'm ready.
That's a real
I'm
question.
ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
I need a new love interest.
Squeeze it.
Just saying.
Mama!
Hear what I said?
Dare you?
Oh, you and Judy Reyes, hello.
Yes.
All right, Jenny, get to work. Final question before we open it to the audience here. So, Jane's finally getting married. Yes.
Brett, Michael, baby, you talk now.
Oh, well, what's going on, guys? How's your day? What should I talk about?
You can ask something about marriage.
Well, I'm
Yeah, for
assuming you get to be the lucky man that she's going to no longer be a virgin. I'm assuming she's getting married, right? That sort of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that could happen.
But it is a telenovela.
Talk a little bit about that poignant moment and just your
They haven't
feelings.
read the.
Oh, they haven't read it. Oh, so you don't reveal them, so you don't make them privy to the.
Oh, is this about the finale?
We think we're getting married,
They're
right?
gonna get the script tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Should we not read it like the last time?
Are they getting
Yes,
That's not
exactly.
it, right?
Don't read it. We'll read it together.
Are you for sure getting married? Oh, I don't know. Am I? Jenny, am I?
Jenny,
Find out
we're
tomorrow.
married.
See what? Are you what?
I thought
Am I doing the deed?
there was still hope for Raphael and you. Is that not possible? I thought there was still hope for us.
So I think now would be a good time to go to the audience.
Right.
A couple of questions.
Make out.
So Emily, is that Emily was going to help coordinate this, or are we just going to shout it out, or is there a mic we're going to get? There we go. This gentleman in the, is that a lady? In the red dress.
How you doing, Mario?
What's going on?
My name is Pierre. I'm an agent. You touched a little bit on the subject of selling this show to CW with superheroes and everything. So I'd like to know the process. How did that even work? How did you convince them to put Jane the Virgin on that network, and how did that work?
I have to say, the CW has been, since day one, I mean, the most supportive. I could really cry thinking about it. Every time I call them and ask them, they say, yes, we love the show, anything, yes. I mean, it's been the most amazing experience. I had worked for them before, and Ben Silverman brought them the property of Jane the Virgin, the Venezuelan, and I think they suggested that he bring it to me and see if I musical, and I did, and pitched it to them, and they bought it, and then, I was nervous showing them the pilot, because in the pilot script, there was no typing, there was no, any of the freezes and type bombs and stamping. That's something that I added in editing, because I was feeling like I had to kind of show people how to watch the show, because, there were earnest moments, and there were scary moments, and I felt like that would help. And another thing is, what we had Alba speaking in Spanish, and I wasn't sure how the CW and CBS were going to respond to the pilot, and they came out and they just said, we love it, and that has been their spirit and their support throughout. It's really overwhelming. It's really
Okay, so I never get up to these things, and I'm very nervous, but it's very important for me to say this to you, especially Gina. My name is Carla, and I'm a talent manager, and I work with children. And I feel very blessed every day to be entrusted with their dreams and to help them come true. And I look so often for role models for them. They're not always easily found. But from the very beginning, the very first interview I ever saw you give, you gave me such a guide to point them to, especially because we have a large Latina and Latin children contingent in my company. And the show is something I can point to. And you especially, your grace and your heart just shines every time you're interviewed or everywhere you are. And I just want to thank you, and especially sitting here and now watching all of you. And this is the hope that I have for my kids that I'm guiding, and the dreams that I'm fostering, is that they all grow up to be like you. And thank you for being such a great example.
Just as empowering, you have no idea for me. I appreciate that. It's what helps me continue to try, because it's difficult, yeah.
And my daughter tells me that she wants to be just like Gina. Like, there's just nothing. She wanted shoes with Gina's face on them. But try to get it for her, nobody would do it. Yes, aspire to that. Like, just, somebody so confident and so humble and gracious. And I mean, she is exactly who you imagine she is from the interviews. It's really stunning.
Where can I be quoted that I like the show?
Say again, please.
I said, where can I, is this on? Where can I be quoted that I like the show?
So real slow this time.
Where can I be quoted that I like the show? Where can you be quoted? You hire people who say they like the show. This is why I can't get work. People can't understand what I'm saying. Subtitles.
Did you say you like the show? Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
love the show.
Work the show.
I want to work it too.
Or you want to work on the show?
Work on the show?
Yes.
What capacity?
I'll sweep the floors if you want.
That's love. That's love.
I love it. But no, seriously, I've been doing this business for a while, but I've just started doing stand-up, and I'm terrified of it still. When do you ever get over the nerves?
You don't.
I think you never, in my personal case, I think I have never lost the edge of when I do theater or musical theater or whatever. I never lose the edge. I always have the butterflies in the stomach, because when you lose them, I think you lose respect for yourself, you lose respect for the audience. You think you are, like we say in Mexico, the last Coca-Cola of the desert. And, it's difficult to translate these kind of things, I'm sorry. But in Spanish, it's so funny. So I never lose the butterflies, and you never lose a nerve, because I think that keeps you on your feet, and I think that's a beautiful thing, to never lose it.
Yeah, but also you can do relaxation exercises for actors, you see, which is actively energize yourself and relax. I did it with Strasbourg, and it was a great exercise to have. It's important to be relaxed when you're on stage, so that you can be in control of what you're doing. It's good to have the edge, the little nerves, but I believe in relaxation. I believe in relaxation.
I had an acting teacher once tell me that if you're not nervous, then you don't care. And you should care. So, I don't know.
No.
Why do I care?
Right.
Just enjoy it, be relaxed and love it.
Go ahead, next question.
What works for you,
Hi,
basically?
I truly just want to thank you for your work and your genuineness.
Where?
I'm over
Oh.
What's so honest and so true, and I just appreciate that, and you have no idea how much. But I wanted to ask how much you plan the end game of these characters. Do you plan it per season? Because I feel like if Jane doesn't marry Michael and loses virginity to him, I might actually have a heart attack and die. So I guess I'm curious for a selfish reason, but also just kind of curious how much you plan what they're going to do. And
We plan. On this show, you have to plan like every inch of it because there's so many stories in each episode, and you don't want anything to be random, and you want it all to come back and wrap around. And there's so many different tones that play, so we really plan everything. We always know at the beginning of the season, you know, what the last, really what the finale is going to be. You know, with some, you know, there might be plots, like how are we going to get from A to B, but we know where B is. We know the end of, I would say I know the end of the whole series. Like that last scene, I have in my head very specifically.
The whole series, you say? You know the end of the whole.
Yes, because I pitched it when I pitched the whole project, and I feel like in you know, we're building. There is an ending where a lot of things click into place. That's all I'll say. But it's a lot of planning. There's no everything is really planned. It takes so much time at the beginning of each season to really chart out the 22 and really put in what every character, where they're going to move, how they're going to arc, what's going to happen. I feel you wanting that wedding. I hear you.
Me too.
Yeah!
Team Michael.
Sorry, Justin. Oh my God, I love you. I love you.
That's so sweet. I love you all.
Oh, hi, Justin.
Don't worry, it's okay. I'm Team Michael too, it's totally fine.
On that note, look at what we have here. Have you guys seen that?
What's that? Oh yeah, that's me and him.
Wait, what is that?
It's Justin. It's the hot teller. The hot.
Yeah.
Oh, the hotel, yeah.
Oh,
you
it's
guys
excited for
wrestling?
her. You should. Yeah, I'm gonna come get it.
Show it to everybody.
There you go. Yes. Okay. We're gonna need a marker.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is.
We're actually all wearing them here.
This one.
And
It's pretty awesome.
And I actually don't have a question. I just want to say thank you to the entire cast for the past 2.5 months. My girlfriend and I have been watching it during our lunch hour. It's a way to kind of, you know, get away from working hardcore and then just kind of relaxing. And we're sitting there laughing. Everybody walks in at the TV Academy and says, "Oh, I know what you guys are doing." Because we're constantly, you know, watching it. So we have 6 of us here that are hardcore fans. I just wanted to say thank you for brightening our days every day. We look forward to it, and when one of us can't do it, we get mad at each other and say, "Oh, yeah, we can't." So I just wanted to say thank you very much, and hopefully you guys are all members. If not, look for me. I work in membership.
All right, well, we have time for one last question, I'm told, so.
Hi,
you're-
my name's Denise, and I just...
Oh, Denise just jacked you, but go ahead, Denise.
My daughter is here tonight. She's 11 years old, and she's thrilled to be here. She loves the show. Hi! And I just wanted to say thank you, because when she was younger, and I'm going to apologize because I might have embarrassed her a little bit. When she was younger, she didn't think she was pretty. And I asked her why, and she said, because I'm not blonde. And so I wanted to thank you for being such a wonderful role model to her. But also because she's a preteen and a very important age right now. You guys bring a lot of experiences that I can talk to her about as she's growing up that are really important to be able to talk to her in a fun way. You guys make it fun and also make it easier for me to talk about embarrassing things. So thank you.
Don't ever steal someone's fun.
Well, that was a beautiful note that ended all, and again, thank you everyone for joining, and thank this wonderful... Thank you guys. Thank you so much.